Okay.
So how come we're here today, Tova?
We're here today mostly to make people aware of the cat and dog fur that is coming from Southeast Asia, mainly from China. They're being used in North America mostly for trim, low-end garments, trinkets, that kind of stuff. And they're animals that are just being scooped up on the streets of in China, in the cities, and stuffed into cages or kept in just abysmal conditions. And many of these animals are being, are being skinned alive.
Well, you've got a representation I saw over there. Is this kind of typical of how cats and dogs are kept in China?
It is. It's just, the conditions are just absolutely terrible. I mean, it's unimaginable, really. And the whole process of killing the animals is, has been described by some undercover investigators as the absolute worst conditions they have ever seen for these animals.
So can you describe a bit maybe what exactly how cats and dogs are kept?
They're stuffed into just absolutely tiny cages or sort of boxes like made out of strips of wood, and they just shove as many animals in there as they can, transport them to some place where they're stacked up until they can be skinned. And I don't know if there's an attempt made to knock them unconscious before they skin them, but for the most part, these animals are actually just skinned alive.
This year and the previous year, you focused on cat and fur, but how does Voice for Animals feel about fur in general?
Well, we're opposed to all the wearing of any kind of fur, whether it comes from foxes or wolves or mink that are farmed. There is no excuse for wearing fur, and we still want to get that message out that there's no excuse for wearing fur, and we are opposed to it. But we think it's important that we, make people aware of this horrible industry that's coming from China mostly, and to make them aware that they have to be careful about the kind of clothing they buy. And so I think it's really important to get that message out. I think people are much more aware of other kinds of furs, and so that's why it's important to get the message out, because people just don't know.
Do you think it's more because people are desensitized to other types of fur, like fox fur, rabbit fur? People kind of typically associate that with being okay as, I guess, things to use as fur, whereas maybe, dogs and cats, people are a little bit more hypersensitive to that because they have dogs and cats in their house, and they're aware that these animals definitely have personalities, that they have feelings, and they can identify with these animals a bit easier.
Well, I think so, and I think that's why the secretiveness of a lot of this business, a lot of this industry, is because I think the Chinese or wherever these animals come from are aware of how people in North America and Europe feel about cats and dogs, that these are companion animals to us, and we're often very closely bonded to them. I think they're aware of it, and I think that's often why they label the furs, as they have kind of strange names for them, or they'll label them as faux fur. And I think there is some realization there that North Americans simply would not buy clothing that was made if it said cat or dog fur on